here to make a new type of news.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Making news just for you. It's November 2nd here in Seoul. I'm Xinun, and you're watching News Generation. Joining me in the studio is Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
And Park Ki-hoon.
Thank you for having me.
Now, both are here to speak on behalf of people in their 20s and 30s. As usual, let's start with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending on social media over the past 24 hours. This year, we've seen the number of people just resting at home increase by 83,000. Statistics Korea particularly found that those aged 15 to 29 mainly choose to stay at home because they didn't find their perfect job or they were looking for the most appropriate workplace for themselves. Moving on to our second story. Starting next year, some carriages on trains passing along lines 4 and 7 in Seoul won't have chairs. This will allow more people to ride trains and help alleviate the problem of overcrowding during rush hours. Seoul Metro has decided to try this out at trains on lines 4 and 7 first because they sometimes carry nearly double the capacity they can at the busiest times of the day. And moving on to some global news. The Jewish symbol, also known as the Star of David, has been graffitied on several buildings in a southern district of Paris. These stencil paintings were accompanied by inscriptions such as "Palestine will overcome," and this has since spurred fears and concerns from the Jewish community in France. Now, the Union of Jewish Students of France said such graffiti resembled back in the Nazi regime when Jews were forced to wear the Stars of David and then eventually massacred. Acts of anti-Semitism have flared in France since violence broke out between the Palestinian militant group Hamas and Israel early in October, and Paris authorities announced that an investigation would be launched into such degradation of property aggravated by racist intent. As of Sunday, around 400 had already been arrested for taking part in anti-Semitic incidents. Now, here in the studio, what did you guys think about this news story?
You know, this spread of anti-Semitism is another growing concern and just shows how much of a detrimental effect a war between just two countries can have on people living in different countries. This will obviously lead to a lot of hate crimes, where innocent people are hurt emotionally, physically, or even just killed just based on their ethnic background. And I think both Israel and Palestine really need to think deeper and logically of the consequences and the negative impact this war is bringing on to the whole world, as too many civilians, half of them being children, innocent children, are dying for no reason. So I think it's very disheartening to feel that there is no safe place to live on Earth in this day and age.
For sure. Walter, what are your thoughts on this story?
Yeah, I honestly couldn't have said it better than Ki-hoon because, you know, once upon a time, not too long ago, we would all say to each other, you know, there will never be another World War I, another World War II. It just wouldn't happen in modern day. But it kind of already feels like it's already happening, even though it isn't. And the fact that, you know, people have to now stay inside in fear of their lives in, you know, a city like Paris or wherever around the world, it's very disheartening to see that this is the world that we live in at the moment. And we should be really working on progressing our world and to be more peaceful. But unfortunately, with all the wars that are kicking off at the moment, it doesn't seem to be heading in the right direction.
Right, and hopefully we'll see it soon head into the right direction. Until then, our prayers will be there for the Israel-Palestinian war at the moment. That was our news feed for this Thursday, and let's switch gears to our main discussion topic of the day. Take a listen to what my AI secretary has to say. We've mentioned a few times before that our generation really prioritizes health. In other words, we are quite fixated on bettering our physical and mental health given that we're living in much better socio-economic times compared to previous generations. Nowadays, it seems like many focus on their oral health, whether that it be buying teeth whitening products, regularly visiting the dentist to make sure they don't have cavities, or even getting dental plastic surgery. Today we're going to find out why oral health is a hot topic of interest among our generation. Some people think it has to do with our eating habits, heavily involving sweets. And one of the most popular sweets at the moment is Chinese-styled candied fruits on a stick, and we call them tanguro here in Korea. And they've been booming in Korea. You can soon see on screen that's what tanguro is. And I personally love them because there's just like full fruits that you put and stick it into candy. It just tastes like candy basically because it's sugar-coated. Here in the studio, I'm quite curious. Did you ever try them?
No, I haven't. I'm sorry, but I haven't. I may very soon once the show finishes because we're talking about it today.
Yeah.
But just looking at it, it kind of reminds me of toffee apples that I had when I was very young back in Australia. It looked very similar, except it was just like one whole apple with that candied outside, and it was just very, very sweet. And the inside apple was very rotten and soggy. So my memory of like something like a tanguru is just like, no, that it shouldn't work that way. If you want a candy, you just have a candy. If you want fruit, just have fruit by itself. But combining it together, I'm sure it would taste very sweet and nice, but I haven't tried it yet. I'm sorry.
Right. You mentioned, they call it what? Candy toffees? Apple toffees?
Toffee apples.
Toffee apples. And I think for our American viewers who are curious as to what that is, those are caramel apples, right?
Excuse me?
I don't know what a caramel
Is it
Caramel apples.
Caramel. Okay.
You caramelize the apple and you call them caramel apples. But it's quite different from tanguru that we're seeing that's really popular among our generation. Because tanguru, as a tanguru expert, you put fruits on a stick and then you dip it in sugar and then it just becomes like a popsicle. Did you ever try it?
I mean, what a great idea to take the most healthy foods in the world and then just add sugar to it. I mean, what a great idea. Who thought of that? But I have tried it before, and I'm sort of with Kyun on this. Like, I don't think it's a great idea. And to be honest with you, I'm not a fan of it. I've also tried toffee apples or caramelized apples. But to be honest with you, I just think it just takes away from each element. I mean, if I want to eat an apple or a piece of mandarin, I'll eat that. If I want to eat candy, it's completely different. But yes, I don't think I'm a fan, and I don't think I'll waste my money on eating these.
Okay, fine. So you guys aren't a big fan of tanguru, but it's no doubt that we call MZ or millennials and Gen Z here in Korea like the Mara tanguru generation, because Chinese food is so popular. They eat the Chinese-style Mara dish, and then they would go to dessert and eat tanguru. So eating sweets has been really trending, but at the same time, it has been quite detrimental to our dental health. And that's why our generation seems to be quite worried about that, right?
Obviously, you know, our generation, we really put a lot of care in our looks, and obviously a beautiful smile can complete that beautiful look. And it's represented by those clean, straight, white, shining teeth, which is obviously increasing a lot of interest in oral health among the younger generation. And I think it's become more popular within us because of the influence of celebrities and of course social media, where most of them seem to have like the same looking teeth. It's almost like Photoshopped. It looks so perfect. And I think a lot of people just want that kind of same look. Because I remember back a few years ago, G-Dragon, although he's anyway, I won't talk about that. So, but he had his teeth laminated, and everyone wanted to copy his same teeth. And they'll go to the dentist and say, "Can I get the GD laminates?" And they'll just do the exact same teeth and say, "Hey, look at my teeth."
Exactly.
Same as GD. So
that set of white, beautiful teeth. And we're also seeing it on social media. Like a lot of influencers seem to have that beautiful smile. And in order for you to have a beautiful smile, you need to obviously have great dental health. Walter, what do you think?
Or just a really good filter.
Yeah.
But for me, like, knock on wood, I haven't had to have any braces or needed any fillings or had any, I haven't even had my wisdom tooth pulled out. So I'm pretty lucky in that sense. But I really do understand the reasons why people are wanting to take care of their teeth and maybe, you know, change the color, whiten, etc., because it is very important aesthetically. What I did notice though is in South Korea, it's not just subject to younger children, because in Australia, it was mainly seen with younger children getting braces and fixing their teeth that way. But in Korea, more and more adults, even in their 30s and 40s, are wanting to make sure that they have good teeth. So it's a great, I mean, I wouldn't get it, but it's a great idea, and it's great to see that many people in our generation are doing it.
I completely agree, and I completely agree with the statement that our generation does prioritize dental and oral health, and I think it has to do with our big emphasis on aesthetics. That's why we're seeing more millennials and Gen Z go through things like dental plastic surgery, or even shop for things like tooth gems, right? I was quite fascinated to find out what this is, but could you explain to us what it is?
Yeah, what is this, to be honest with you? Like, people are now glamorizing everything. I know piercings were a thing back in the day, and now, for some reason, people want to put gems in their teeth. And to be honest with you, I'm a little on the fence, more on the fence of that looks silly, but if you have them, fine, but whatever. Aesthetically speaking, teeth have always been an important thing to me, and that means that they're white, they're clean, or as white as they could be, and not have anything in them, especially gems. And speaking in a shallow way, I guess, that I think the most attractive feature on anybody, male, female, is their smile. And if someone's smiling at me and there's this little flashy thing coming out of their teeth, be a bit distracting and I wouldn't like it. But to be honest with you, even though I think it's silly, it's actually not great for your teeth. And even though you may look cool, it results in teeth trimming as well as discoloration and can cause many bad things to happen to your teeth.
And Walter, I don't know if you noticed, but if you saw on the screen, I was the one who was looking up tooth gems because
Really?
I thought they were quite cool. Though I am a big advocate of just having like a beautiful set of white teeth with nothing on it, I do understand the aesthetic aspect to it because once you open up your mouth, you can see something sparkly.
But I know that a lot of rappers do it, and I know you want to be a rapper, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's for the swagger for sure. But Kyun, where do you stand on the fact that like our generation seems to be quite fixated on dental plastic surgery, right?
Absolutely, because I've talked about this before. A lot of celebrities get their teeth laminated, and it looks very clean, almost Photoshop perfect. So I think it's influenced a lot of young people as well, like I mentioned before, which kind of forces their parents to give them that dental surgery, which somewhat could be a little unnecessary and costly at such a young age. And even if your dream is not to become a celebrity, a lot of youngsters get their teeth laminated to better prepare for job interviews, or just to, I guess, look a bit better and be a bit more accepted in this society, especially in Korea, because we're so focused on lookism.
Yeah.
And I think, look, it's not bad having perfect looking teeth, but the process of getting your tooth laminated is, once you find out, you wouldn't want to really get it because they just grind out everything and you just have the root left. And they're just putting synthetic, new tooth in it, and it may break later on. So you have to be careful of what you eat. So a lot of problems come along with just having beautiful teeth.
If you have laminated teeth, I guess it'd be hard for you to eat tanguru.
Absolutely. So no tanguru.
And I think for dental beauty to be considered, one should have great dental health. So why don't we explain to our viewers what our dental health system is like here in Korea?
Well, I can only compare it to when I was living in Australia, and I think the dental health care system here is fantastic compared to where I used to live. You want to know something, a little TMI? Of course you do.
No.
Because dental care was so expensive in Australia, it was free for students between primary school and high school, but once you left high school, it was all on you. It was so expensive that I didn't actually get my teeth scaled for 10 years.
Whoa.
And then I came to Korea and realized how good of a system it was, and I got my teeth scaled, everything was clean, I was a new person, and it changed my life. Now, I basically go every year because I know that it's just so affordable.
Would you like to add on to that, Kyun?
Just like what Walter said, dental healthcare system here in Korea is so advanced compared to other advanced countries like the US and of course Australia. And even my cousin that's living in Brisbane, where Walter's from, Queensland, she comes to Korea just to get dental treatment. And I asked her, you come all the way to Korea to get dental treatment. Is that necessary? And she said, it's actually, it costs much less than the actual plane tickets. So that's how affordable it is in here in Korea. And of course, like the Korean dentists, their skills are just, top notch.
Right.
It's incomparable to other countries. So a lot of people come to Korea just for the dental care.
Exactly. We do have high quality national health insurance, and it is covered. Like dental health care is covered by our insurance partially, which is why it's so affordable. Now, we asked how our viewers from other parts of the world prioritize dental health and beauty. Also, if they could share their own hacks on better taking care of their own teeth. So here's what 3 of them had to share with us. Take a look at the screen to find out. Let's start with Hannah. Hannah said, I believe in preventive care. I brush my teeth and floss 3 times a day and get a dental checkup and cleaning every 6 months. Giselle said, I do bi-yearly checks and teeth scaling, and it is covered by my insurance. If I were to need further dental work, though, it would only be partially covered. The Power Ranger said, I get my teeth cleaned every 9 months in order to keep my teeth and gums healthy, and the dental insurance is covered by my family. And to find out more on how to better maintain our dental health, we're now going to include an actual dentist in our talks. Stay tuned for our live interview. Let's include an actual dentist in our talks to better find out how to manage our oral health. It's Dr. Song Sun-myung. Welcome, Dr. Song.
Hello, so glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
All right, Dr. Song, we're going to go around and ask you a question each. I'll start with the first question. Are you seeing an uptick in millennial and Gen Z patients these days, and which condition are they suffering from the most?
Yeah, in general speaking, I don't think we have anything really special in Gen Z patient. But compared to 20 and 30 and 40 years ago, Korea, our living standard has much more improved. So we could no more see the patient coming because of the tooth pain, but instead a lot of young patients coming to the dental clinic for the consultation for the aesthetic reason, which is basically they asking tooth whitening and like laminate veneer, those kind of, cosmetic purpose. They're more like more follow checkup. They're coming for dental. I mean, obviously there's phenomenon that we could see. They demand more braces and cosmetic dental treatment.
Dr. Song, I'm a person who loves to eat cake and chocolate and all those great things, including sodas. How bad are these kinds of foods like tanghulu or syrup-covered fruits for your dental health? And what about all the teeth whitening or beauty products out there?
In fact, tanghulu is the one big topic I have been in Korea. I've never seen that before when I was in Korea, but I've seen when I visit in Korea, people love to try that. Honestly speaking, I've never tried it because I'm afraid to get my denture comes out with it. I'm just kidding. But the most important thing that when I see the tanghulu, it looks like so sticky and remains in your mouth much longer, meaning that you have more chances to have cavities. It's very difficult to remove that. So in the dental practice, we have some sticky material. When we want to remove the crown from patient mouth, we just melt it in the water and then we put it in the patient mouth, hold it in a couple of minutes, then it can remove your crown, in fact. That's what we call crown remover. Tanghulu looks like something that product we use in dental treatment.
Oh, that's
so I think it's, yeah.
It's definitely going to stop me from eating tanghulu. Yeah.
Especially if you have a lot of fillings and any kind of artificial crown, and you might have a risk to, those things can be easily fell off, by eating that. So be careful. I'm not against eating tanghulu, by the way, but if you want to eat tanghulu, it should not be a lot of thick sugar part. The thicker sugar part could be really dangerous. If it's a thinner, I think it'll be all right.
Okay.
Thanks for that advice, Dr. Song. Yep.
And if we go on to the last question, please. Yeah, last question.
May I ask you the last question? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, can I ask you the last question? Any tips on how to better take care of our mental health? Sorry, dental health, not mental. Dental health and beauty?
Keeping your dental health, you can keep the mental health too, by the way. The most important thing we need to, how we keep the teeth clean. Basically, we're eating every day, every moment, and there's the food remnant, they can stay in the mouth, they can make the so-called dental plaque, which is basically cluster of bacteria. By the way, in our oral cavity, there's more than 700 species of the bacteria, normal flora live in our mouth, even though we clean very well. So those bacteria can be opportunistic to give you any kind of disease, like cavities or periodontal disease, like gum disease. So basically, simply speaking, it's a kind of war against the plaque, which is the cluster bacteria in the mouth. So toothbrushing, dental floss, and so-called interdental brush and water pick, those kind of are very, very essential. But more or less, people need to check a dentist because some of even though we try to clean our teeth well, there's always that plaque remain and it can be become solid. It can become, we call it calculus. It should be removed by a cleaning process. so-called scaling in dental clinic. So
I
we just highly recommend every 6 months or like a year, we can visit dental clinic to check it out whether you have any problem with it.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Song. We'll take your words into account. And before we end off, we'll just like to say thank you so much for better letting us understand how to take care of our dental health and oral beauty.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Now I'd like to end up our discussion by talking about what Dr. Song said last. What do you guys think, or what do you guys think we need to do habitually to better manage our dental health? And can you share your own hacks?
Have good genetics.
That's a very good keyword,
because as an example, I will compare it with my wife. As I said, knock on wood, I haven't had any fillings or any bad situations with my teeth. And my wife takes very good care of her own teeth, and she's got fillings all over the place. And so my tip is have good genetics. But obviously, yes, brush your teeth twice minimum a day, floss, mouthwash, exactly what the professional said.
All right. What about you, Yoon?
You know, I agree with Walter. You need to be born with it. But if you're not like me, what I do is I receive dental scaling every 6 months, just like what Dr. Song said. And I actually asked my doctor, how do I brush my teeth properly? And she actually taught me how to brush it, like up, down, up, down. And I thought, oh, it's very different to how I used to brush my teeth my whole life. So if you're really interested in your dental care, look it up, you know, they'll tell you everything.
And I think for those of you who have a sweet tooth like myself, just make sure to wash your teeth, brush your teeth right after, so that you can still have you can still kill two rabbits with one stone. You can still eat your sweets while have really good dental health.
She's not going to give up her tanguru.
I can't give up my
She
tanguru.
won't.
Now, in the meantime, we'll be here every day from 9:30 to 10 a.m. Korea time, bringing you more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks to Walter Lee
Lovely to be here.
and Park Ki-hoon.
My pleasure.
All right, and thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you tomorrow. We are
News Generation.